Once upon a time, there was a girl called Adugo. She was the last child of her parents, Adaugo and Adugo. Adaugo was very happy when she had Adugo because she was her only daughter. She had previously given birth to 3 boys. Adugo grew up to be a very beautiful and intelligent child. But when Adugo turned 2, she became very ill and lost her sight. The doctor said she needed surgery, but the surgery was very expensive, and her father, who was a poor farmer, couldn't afford the surgery. Ugo became ashamed of his daughter and started isolating her. The mother, on the other hand, was doing all she could to help her daughter cope by picking up different menial jobs and providing support. Adugo also started selling her belongings to save up for the surgery. Years passed, and Adugo managed to finish her primary education with the help of her mother, who read to her and helped her with her schoolwork. When Adugo was 10, an NGO donated money for her surgery. This made her mother, Adaugo, so happy. Ugo, her father, felt such a huge money could be put to better use instead of wasting it on a blind child. He didn't bother to say anything to his wife because he knew Adaugo was going to object to it. So he decided he was going to do something about it. One day, Ugo traveled to see his brother. He said he would be away for some days. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, Adugo heard her father whispering her name. He told her to get up quietly so as not to awaken anyone, as it was very late at night. He told his daughter he had met an old friend who was a doctor and who could do the surgery for free, but was usually very busy during the day. Adugo was very happy. So they left the house quietly in the middle of the night. A car was waiting for them, parked far away from the house. When they got to his destination, he asked his daughter to sit and wait for him, as he needed to check on something. Adugo sat there in the forest waiting for her father. She waited and waited, and she knew instantly her father wasn't coming back. She had been abandoned. She felt really heartbroken and sad. She was alone in the forest. So, Ugo succeeded in doing it with his youngest and only daughter. The following day, Adaugo woke up and went to her daughter's room to get her ready for the day. To her surprise, she didn't find her daughter. She shouted and called her sons to help search for their little sister. They searched for her everywhere. Then they found a note saying she has left so as not to be a burden to anyone. Adaugo knew things weren't right, but she couldn't place her finger on it. Days later, when Ugo returned, he was told of his daughter's sudden disappearance. He acted sad and disturbed. Adaugo became a shadow of herself after the disappearance of her daughter. It took a very big toll on her, and it took her months to recover. 15 years later, an international NGO came for medical outreach in a neighboring city. Many people went there to see the doctor. Ugo was amongst those who went to see the doctor. He had cataracts. He was examined and booked for surgery. The surgery was performed and it was successful. After some weeks, he went for a follow-up appointment with his doctor. He went in with his wife, Adaugo. The doctor looked at Ugo and Adaugo, and after the medical examination, she asked some questions about the family history, if anyone was ever blind in the family. Ugo said no, but Adaugo said yes, their daughter was blind. The doctor asked about the whereabouts of the child, and Ugo answered that she ran away from home. The doctor looked at Ugo with tears in her eyes and said, "I am Adugo." But they were confused and shocked. She explained that she had made her findings and confirmed. She explained how she saw her father's name and decided to probe further. Then she heard her mother's voice. She knew her guess was right. Adaugo broke down in tears and hugged her daughter. Adugo narrated how she was taken to the forest close to the orphanage. Fortunately, her adoptive parents were one of the sponsors of the orphanage, and they were on a visit to the orphanage the very week she was abandoned. Adoptive parents performed the surgery on her because they were also ophthalmologists. She was later adopted. and moved with them to their country. Adaugo wept and hugged her daughter. It was a joyful reunion. She thanked God for sparing her daughter's life. Ugo was very ashamed and broke down in tears and asked for forgiveness from his wife, who was very angry with him. He begged Adugo, but surprisingly, Adugo said she had forgiven him long ago, so as to make a meaning out of her own life. This made him even cry the more. Adugo told him God only used him to make her find her purpose in life. Perhaps it was for a time like this God spared my life, she said. So I decided to help the poor, especially those who can afford quality health care. I traveled from one country to the other, performing free surgery. Adaugo looked at her husband and said to her husband, "The rejected stone has become the cornerstone. No one is useless in life after all. All the little girl needed was love." Go was very ashamed. The lessons to be learned from these stories are: no one is useless in life. The rejected stone can sometimes become the cornerstone, and we should learn to love and to show love to everyone, especially those who are less privileged. Thank you.